Good morning, Year 10. Today you need to finish reading Stave 3. So if you've got this copy, which is the copy that I've got, it's page 72. But you're looking for the line, much they saw and far they went, as it says on the screen here. So once you've read through that, we're going to focus on the representation of the two children in this lesson. So as it says, the boy represents the ignorance of society towards the poor. Many of middle-class people turned their backs on the poor, shoved them in workhouses and believed it was best to let them die out. And this is kind of an attitude that Scrooge showed early in the book when he said, do they not have prisons? He just thought if they need help, if they need to get a job, then if they don't have a job, then they should be locked up, that sort of attitude. The girl represents want. So the poor and destitute went without basic necessities. Their want for food, clothes, comfort, warmth was painful. You've got to remember this is a very different society to the one in which we live now. If you're vulnerable and you need help, there are resources available to support you, whereas that's not what we're seeing in Victorian England at all. The Cratchits, who you focused on in yesterday's Monday's lesson, were some really good examples, best case examples of poor, hardworking, kind, caring, God-fearing, but they still wanted for basic essentials. So what I've said is I'd like you to read through the extract. It's there on the PowerPoint slide. I'm actually going to put it up on a Word document, kind of model how to do some annotations for you. This is something that you'll have to do in your exam, so it's really important that you practice annotating. Either do it directly into your copy, or if you want to put it into a Word document and print it off and annotate it a bit like a mock exam paper, that would be good too. So here are the kind of things that we're going to focus on as we go through the extract, but I will let you refer to that when you have a go. I'll start it off and then hopefully you can continue. So here I've got my Word document. The first thing I would think about is the fact that they are children. So it's emphasising their vulnerability. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that they're children. And, they were particularly poorly treated at this time, sent up chimneys and things like that. Not like we would view children. Yeah, they didn't have like the chance to just run and play and be young. Okay, and then we've got this listing: yellow, meagre, ragged, scowling, wolfish, but prostrate too in their humility. So that they've experienced. The fact that they're yellow suggests maybe they're ill, so they're physically sick. They're ragged, so their appearance isn't good. They're wolfish, so we're starting to get some reference to kind of the idea of them almost being animals. But they are prostrate. That kind of means sort of like not lying down, but begging. They're desperate. And then we just continue going through. We got this stark contrast. They should have graceful youth, and yet this isn't the contrast of what they should be like as children. And this kind of goes on. They should have fresh tints. But we've got this kind of violent imagery. Instead, they've been pinched and twisted. And again, we've got kind of religion being evoked, or religious imagery being evoked. Think about the fact that this was a predominantly Christian society, regular churchgoers, maybe 50% of the population going to church, something like that. And here we've got kind of a reminder of what would be good Christian behaviour, looking after children, where they should be angels, but instead they're being described as devils, and they're menacing, so it's very threatening. And it kind of almost escalates. They're not this wonderful creation, they've become monsters. They're almost haunting or scary. It's a bit of a weak adjective choice, but that's what they are. So looking at the work that you wrote for me on Monday, some of the things I was saying for a number of you EBIs was kind of discussion of structure. So if we think about this stave, we've had some quite positive experiences of Christmas, and then we've got a stark contrast to the experiences that wantoned these children of the ignorance have experienced. We've also got another structural choices, these kind of sentence structures, these lengthy lists, this asyndetic sentence structures to emphasize how poor they are, that it goes beyond that sentence. It continues, they've degraded. I don't know if I can link it to that one. Same idea. So those are all sorts of structural comments that you can make. Then we've got kind of a look at, if we go back to the PowerPoint for a moment, Scrooge's reaction, both his physical and his emotional. So look, he's appalled. If you're appalled, you're not just shocked. You're really, really, really quite traumatized by something. So he's physically revolted. He physically can't speak. The words choked themselves. He's literally speechless.